In the heart of the English countryside, nestled between thick forests and mist-covered hills, stood Blackwood Manor. The mansion had been abandoned for decades, its once grand walls now covered in ivy, its windows shattered by time and neglect. No one in the nearby village dared to approach it, and most didn't even remember the last time anyone had lived there. But one day, a young couple named Daniel and Lily, looking to escape the bustling city life, decided to purchase the manor. They had no fear of the warnings the villagers whispered, convinced that a fresh coat of paint and a little hard work would restore the place to its former glory. The first few days were filled with excitement and laughter as Daniel and Lily explored the rooms, each one more decrepit than the last. They uncovered old furniture draped in dusty sheets and long-forgotten portraits of stern-faced ancestors who seemed to watch their every move. But as night fell, an unsettling silence seemed to take hold of the manor, as if the house itself was breathing. On the third night, Lily awoke to the sound of whispers. At first, she thought it was the wind, but the voices were distinct, too clear to be a trick of the breeze. They came from the attic, faint at first, then louder as if someone or something was calling her name. Lily, Lily. The whispers grew more insistent, like an invitation and a warning all at once. Against her better judgment, she climbed the narrow staircase to the attic. The air was thick with dust, and as her hand touched the rusted doorknob, she felt a chill crawl up her spine. Inside, the attic was cluttered with old boxes and forgotten relics. In the center of the room, a small, antique mirror stood against the wall, its surface covered in a layer of grime. Lily felt drawn to it. As she wiped away the dust, her reflection stared back at her, but something was wrong. Her face looked pale, almost as if it was fading from view. Before she could react, the whispers surged in volume, now joined by a cold, shrill laugh that seemed to echo from the very walls. Suddenly, a dark figure appeared behind her reflection. It was a man, dressed in old-fashioned clothing, his face stood in a grotesque grin. His eyes were hollow, black voids. Lily screamed and stumbled back, but when she turned around, the room was empty. The figure was gone, and the attic was silent once again. Terrified, Lily ran downstairs to find Daniel, but the moment she stepped into the hallway, she felt the temperature drop. A shadow moved across the wall in front of her, but when she looked, there was nothing there. Her heart raced, and the whispers returned, now accompanied by the sound of footsteps following her every move. She found Daniel in the parlor, but he was different. His eyes were glazed over, and he barely acknowledged her presence. "We can't leave," he said in a voice that was not his own. "It's already too late." Lily tried to shake him awake, but the man she loved had become a shell of himself. She grabbed his arm and pulled him toward the door, but the house seemed to resist, the walls closing in around them. Every window they passed showed only darkness, and no matter how hard they tried, the front door would not open. Desperate, Lily remembered the strange mirror in the attic. She ran back upstairs, dragging Daniel with her, and pushed him in front of the mirror. As she gazed into its depths, she saw the dark figure again, this time standing behind Daniel. The man's hand reached out to touch Daniel's shoulder, and Lily screamed. "Look out!" she cried, but Daniel didn't move. The figure's hand landed on Daniel's shoulder, and in that instant, his body jerked forward, as though pulled by invisible strings. The whispers grew louder, and Lily felt her strength drain. She could no longer fight the weight of the curse that bound her and Daniel to Blackwood Manor. Suddenly, the mirror cracked, and the figure vanished, but the curse was far from over. Daniel, now completely under the control of the entity, turned to face Lily, his eyes completely black. "You should have left," he hissed, his voice now filled with malice. The manor's walls seemed to pulse, and the house itself seemed alive, its very soul twisted by the ancient curse that had taken root long before Lily and Daniel ever set foot inside. The manor was not just a house, it was a prison for the cursed souls who had once lived there. And now Lily and Daniel were part of it. The last thing Lily saw before everything went dark was the reflection in the broken mirror, her own face, twisted and distorted, staring back at her with cold, empty eyes. Years later, the village still whispers about Blackwood Manor, now a crumbling ruin. No one ever dares to go near it, and the stories of the cursed couple still haunt the town. Some say that the whispers can still be heard on quiet nights, coming from the cracked windows of the old manor. Others claim they've seen two figures standing in the attic, their eyes dark as the night, waiting for their next victim to cross the threshold.